Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited. I cannot stress it enough. Let's reel it in and let's have a chat. Fall isn't the same down under because our seasons are opposite. Like, we're in spring right now, but lucky for me, I live in Melbourne, so it's not warm all year round. And even with spring, we still get gloomy, cold days along with days where, you know, the sun is shining and you could go for a swim. So I can kind of feel the fall vibes. Spooky season is here for most of you bitches. And I don't know if you've picked up on it. If you've been following me for a while, I'm secretly a witch, bitch. Like, I love it. I love witchy poo shit. I've said it once before. I'll say it again. Back in the day when I was a young kid, after I watched Charmed, like it was my favorite show, I was in the backyard fucking making spells, making potions, like putting spells on the family dog and, you know, doing all that type of shit. And my dad was just kind of like out the window wondering what the fuck was wrong with his child because I was out there frolicking in the grass thinking I was some sort of magical being. So I absolutely love this type of stuff, like whether it's witchcraft or like vampires, immortal beings, and just like spooky shit. So yeah, I'm so excited to do this video. Some of these books I literally thought instantly when I read them. I cannot wait to suggest them when it's the perfect time of year for you guys. There's gonna be a lot of good stuff, a lot of new recommendations, and I feel like this is exactly what I needed to get me out of this kind of weird reading slump. I don't want to call it a slump, but I've just been like really jumpy when it comes to my books. Like, I'm reading more than 3 and then I'll read one scene, like one chapter, and then go to another book, and I'm finding it really hard to digest a full book. But like, I found a certain book last night that I'm going to recommend in this video. I always make comments about my hair. It's not in a good place, okay? It needs to get another trim. I need to chop it even more, and it's really oily at the moment, so it's not freshly washed and it's like causing issues for me, baby. Okay, it's causing issues for me, baby. Anyway, without further ado, I've said that like 3 times now. Let's get into the spooky romance recs. I'm here for it, baby. Also, I'm wearing my moon today because, you know, fitting. Yeah, it makes sense for me to wear all my moon jewelry. I don't have my bracelet on, but anyway. So the first book I'm recommending is Hello Heathens by Nicole Fiorina. I know a lot of you already would have predicted that this would be in this type of video because this is my favorite book I've read this year, and I think it's perfect, literally perfect for this time of year. I actually read it at the start of the year. Nicole did release this last autumn, but yeah, I read it this year and I was just blown the fuck away. It was everything that I needed in a book at that time. So it's a witch romance, which is epic. But the one thing that I love about it is it's not like fantasy. It is a little bit, but like it's not like all these made up powers, like physical powers. It's more like Wicca. And I think that is super cool. I love Wicca. I don't practice it or anything. It's not like my religion, but like I've looked into it and I love certain elements about it. I love learning about it. I just love anything kind of witchy. So it's very much about like the earth and like the sea and the air and all of nature's elements, and it's just so fucking cool. The aesthetic, if I could give you an idea of what the aesthetic is, think like an old town, kind of like Vampire Diaries, but it's kind of set up like Gilmore Girls. And it's like this town where these 2 covens live and they're like rivals. It's super spooky and like just so dark and fall and just like magical. It's honestly the best. And when I was reading it, like my heart was just like pumping extra blood around my body because I was so into it. Fallon, who was raised by her nanny, and she ends up getting all these letters sent to her from her grandfather. Now, Fallon's nanny used to tell her bedtime stories, and one of the stories that she used to tell her was set in a town called Weeping Hollow. For most of Fallon's life, she thought that Weeping Hollow didn't exist and it was a made-up place. But then when she starts receiving these letters, she sees that her grandfather is sending these letters from Weeping Hollow. Fallon is kind of lost. She doesn't know who she is. She doesn't have a good sense of self. So she decides to go on like a little bit of a road trip to find Weeping Hollow. But what she doesn't know is the town is very reluctant to letting people go until it's done with them. When she moves to Weeping Hollow, she ends up, you know, meeting new people, and she meets Julian, who is a part of the Hollow Heathens, who are cursed. They walk around the town in masks, and they can never show their faces, because if they show their faces, you will die. It's one of those romances that will move you. It's so powerful, it's so beautiful, it's very dark. But don't get it twisted, baby, just because there is like witches and it's like covens and stuff like that. It is super steamy, very like dark magic, cult-like. Oh, it is so, so good. Like, it reminds me of like pagan witchcraft to certain scenes too. It's honestly fucking sickening. In the best way possible. So I do have the paperback. It's signed by Nicole, and like I've got like a little image of Julian and Fallon, but I just wanted to show you guys the detailing in this book is amazing, because I do suggest you getting the paperback. There's the map of the town, and she's currently writing the second book of this series, which won't be about Fallon and Julian. It's about a new couple, and it's called Bone Island. I'm not sure if she'll get it out this fall, I don't know. Just the detailing, like the, what do you want to call it? Like the formatting of the book is just incredible. And even when you're reading it, like the paperback, oh my God, it feels like you're reading like a book of shadows or something, like a grimoire. Like, it's so, so good. Okay, so next up we've got Sacrifice by Katee Robert. This is the book I read last night. I found it on Kindle, and I am obsessed. It is a novella, so it's only 160 pages, which I have been thoroughly enjoying as of recently. Short stories that, you know, give you everything you need. The smut, the drama, the romance, but it's more compact, and it's not like a slow burn, and it's not filled with too much angst. That's where I'm at the moment. And baby, this book is so good. Like, bitch, it is so fucking spicy. I could not handle it. And this was giving me like Buffy the Vampire Slayer vibes. Not because the heroine was a vampire slayer, but because Wolf in the book reminded me of Spike. Oh baby, oh my God, don't even get me started. Okay, so this is about this girl who is half vampire, half human. Her father is like this really bad man who is like a king, I guess, to all these vampires. And there's like different types of like vampire colonies. Her job is to be a blood bag and a womb for certain vampire bloodlines. So they're like special vampires, right? So her dad sends her to this house where this bloodline vampire lives. And he sends her there to pretty much get pregnant by this dude because he wants the child. It's sent to this like gothic, like vampire, like house, this old house. Oh my God, so good. And instantly she like walks in the door and she gets attacked. And it's funny because when they get bitten, it causes orgasms. Don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me. So even if they don't want to get bitten, they can't say no because they feel it. Like, they like know what's gonna happen. And even when it hurts, when they're draining the blood, they're like orgasming at the same time. It is delicious. So this is actually a reverse harem, which reverse harems aren't usually my favorite books. No, I don't usually like them. But this one fucked me up. Like Malachi, Wolf, Rylan, baby, I was here for it. I was like, where is this gothic mansion, baby? Do you need a human? Because I am on my way right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would not pass up that opportunity. You'd be stupid to do that. I love this so much. I really highly suggest you read it. It's a 5-star read for me, and I can't believe it was only that short, like 160 pages. I loved every minute of it. It literally hooked me straight away. I was in the book, I was there, I felt everything. One of my top favorite reads of this year. So I want to recommend The Dare by Harley Laroux, which is also a novella. I recently read this and I really, really liked it. This is actually banned, okay? You can't get it on Kindle. I don't know where else you can buy it, ebook form, but maybe Apple Books if you've got an iPhone, but I have the paperback. You can buy the paperback off Amazon. Now I'm suggesting this because this is not magical or paranormal or anything, but it is a smutty novella that's set at a Halloween party, and that obviously ties into spooky season. So it's about this girl who ends up going to a Halloween party, and she bumps into this guy that used to get bullied really bad in high school, and she dated his bully, but there was a little bit of like a moment between these two characters back in high school where they like wanted each other and they hooked up. He is known as like a freak. Yeah, he dresses like a freak and she's like the popular girl. Anyway, they play truth or dare and he ends up daring her to like kiss his boots. So when she does kiss his boots, she realizes that she's getting turned on, and then he asks her to be his slave for the rest of the night, and instead of her backing away and being like, fuck you, I'm not being your slave, she's turned on by it, so she does. She becomes his slave for the night. Honey, the sex in this is something fucking else, let me tell you. I was just like, I don't know if I like this or not. Like, I loved reading it, but personally don't know if I could get down with half this shit. No wonder it's fucking banned, honestly. But it's just like brutal, like degrading, like praising, like all the things that you can think of, baby, it's in this book. And yeah, it's Halloween themed and I really enjoyed it. I want to suggest Verity because Verity is one of the best romantic thrillers I have ever read. This is one of my favorite books from Colleen Hoover, and I have not been able to find a book similar to this since I read it. So it's about this author who ends up getting hired to ghostwrite her favorite author's series. So to get to know this author so she can ghostwrite this series to the best of her ability, she ends up going to her house and like studying her and going through all her manuscripts and all of this stuff. Now, this author had an accident, so she's paralyzed. The new ghostwriting author ends up staying at the house and she ends up finding this biography that her favorite author wrote. And she ends up learning the dark truth about her favorite author, her marriage, her family, and her job. Bitch, this gave me creepy vibes so fucking bad. There was like one time that I literally like gasped for air because I got a fright while I was reading this. I read it at night and I had to keep closing it because it was freaking me out in the best way possible though. I get like frightened quite easy in the dark. Like I'm all right on my own, but like if there's a noise or something, I'm like, who's there? That better not be the fucking devil because I'm not fucking with some spirits tonight, baby. I also want to suggest Layla from Colleen Hoover. I've mentioned this book before. This is a paranormal romance. This was not what I was expecting at all, and that's the best thing about a book. Going into it blind, so I don't want to give away too much, but it's about this married couple who have kind of lost the spark of their relationship. And the husband decides to rent out the Airbnb where they first met. I believe that they met at like a wedding or something at an Airbnb, something like that. So he ends up like renting it out and taking his wife there because he thinks, you know, wow, this is going to hopefully re-spark the spark in their marriage and they'll be all good. B&B, or the place that they're staying at, is kind of old. It's kind of run down a little bit. I remember like telling this to my boyfriend and he gets creeped out by like ghosts and stuff, and he was like, I can't listen to this. I can't. No. Like he was like, I don't want to know. Like he could not even listen to me telling him this book. You know, this is one of my favorite series, but I feel like it's so fitting for this time of year. EKC, the Elite Kings Club from Amo Jones. So the whole series is pretty much based around like, think mafia, but it's a cult. Think, you know, in our world, but it's a different world. I don't know how to explain it. It's magical, but not magical. And as I said, it's very cult-based. Think like rich young kids with a lot of money, but also a lot of power. There is a fair few books. The first three, so we got, what is it? The Silver Swan, The Broken Puppet, and I can't say it. They're all about Bishop and Madison, which I love. Then you got Malum Part 1 and Part 2, which is about Tilly and Nate. I love Tilly. Tilly is like one of my favorite female characters I've ever fucking met. And their story is really epic because it brings in like a different island. You need to read it, okay? And then we've got Sancte, Diaboli Part 1 and 2, which is Brantley and Saint. This is perfect for this time of year because it's very witchy. Magic with a K, baby. That's what we're talking about in this part of the series. And like a sisterhood coven. Don't even get me started. It's so fucking good. It's so funny because people read The Silver Swan and a lot of people DNF it because it's a bully romance. It starts off there and they're like, I'm so confused. I don't know what's going on. Like, this makes no sense to me. And like, when I forced people to read the whole thing at the end, they're like, what the fuck? Because there's just so many things going on. And there's so much change. Things are so wild. It's magical, man. It's like out of this world. There's just like different laws and like different worlds and different groups of people and just like mystery. It's so good, and I just feel like for this time of the year, absolutely fucking perfect, especially Sancte Diaboli Part 1 and 2. Also, the paperbacks for these books are very stunning. I feel like if you like want a gothic read, like this is where it is at, baby. Absolutely stunning. So that's Part 1, and then we've got Part 2 here. Oh, I love it so much. Like I cannot even stress it enough. Brantley and Saint, they're something else, baby. They are something else. So that's it for the first spooky season video, baby. I've got tons more coming. I've already got my second video planned. I'm just gonna read 2 books off that list and we'll be ready to go. I'm so pumped for this spooky season shit. I'm gonna dress up too. I've already planned what I'm gonna dress up as. I think I might do that closer to Halloween for my Halloween recommendation video that I wanna do. Anyway, let's hope that I have enough time and I can get around to doing that. I always say I'm going to film a certain video and then never do. Let me know in the comments below your favorite spooky season reads. I want to know. I'm done, honey bunny. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.